Virtual STEM Club Teen Edition Luminous Lava Makers. I'm Sandy, and today we're going to have some fun making a DIY lava lamp. You should have already picked up your take and make bag, which will have everything in it that you need for the project. Let's have some fun. In your take and make bag, you're going to find a bottle with some vegetable oil in it, some food coloring, a couple packets of antacid tablets, and a baggie with some glitter in it. You will need some water from home to finish the experiment, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. So to get started, you want to open your bottle of vegetable oil, and we're going to add the water at this point. So we'll take the lid off, and we're going to put water into about where the bottle kind of slopes down. And what we'll see when we start pouring the water in is that the oil and the water are not going to mix. They don't mix. Water is heavier than oil, so the water is going to sink to the bottom of the bottle. So we'll just start pouring that in. And if you can see, it's kind of going down to the bottom of the bottle, and they're not mixing. The water is settling at the bottom, and the oil is staying at the top. So we'll continue to pour the water in with the oil, and see how it's not mixing. We're going to keep pouring water in until we get about right here. And you can see how they're not mixing. The water is all coming down to the bottom, and it may take a little bit longer for the rest of it to settle, but it will all settle at the bottom of the bottle, and that's because they won't mix. The water is heavier, so it's going to stay at the bottom. And to showcase our little experiment, we're going to add some food coloring to our bottle, and food coloring is water soluble. What that means is that it will dissolve in water, and so the water and the food coloring will mix a little bit, and you may find it just a little bit tricky to get your top off. Once you do, just be careful, don't drop your bottle. And if you spill some food coloring, just wipe it up right away. It should clean up pretty easily. So put 4, 5, or 6 drops of food coloring. Just drop it right in your bottle. All right, so that might be more than 6, but we'll see what happens. And then once you've done that, make sure to put the lid back on so that it doesn't spill. And you see how the food coloring is dropping down to the bottom of the bottle as well. That's a little bit heavier than the oil, and it's starting to mix with the water. It's water soluble, or it dissolves in water. So the little drops that went in there, they're kind of spreading out and mixing with the water. And you can see after our bottles sat for just a minute how all the water has worked its way down towards the bottom of the bottle with the oil still staying on top. Now, to make our experiment a little more sparkly, if you want to add the glitter that's provided, you can certainly do that. Just be careful, because we all know glitter gets all over the place, and it's kind of a pain to clean up, but that's okay. So I'm just adding a little bit of glitter. That's going to float right on top of that oil. But now for the true experiment, we're going to open up our antacid tablet packet, and we're just going to take the tablet and we're going to drop it in. And what's going to happen is the ingredients, there's sodium bicarbonate and citric acid in these tablets, and that's going to react with the water, creating a carbon dioxide gas that's going to form bubbles. And that's going to bubble up mix through the oil and create your lava lamp. So we'll just drop it in and you see how it goes right through the oil down to the bottom, and it's reacting with all the bubbles, and you can see some of the color is starting to rise up. And once the bubbles get to the top, the gas releases out of the bubbles, and so the water sinks back down to the bottom of the bottle. But the food coloring is clinging to the water, so that's why we can see the color when we create the carbon dioxide gas bubbles. So you've got your mix of food coloring and the water and the carbon dioxide bubbles. They're rising to the top because the gas is going up through the oil, and then once the bubble gets to the top of the bottle, the gas escapes and the water's going back down to the bottom of the bottle. And once your antacid tablet stops creating bubbles, you can add your next tablet and keep doing this as long as you have antacid tablets. And it's still going. I don't know if you can see that a little better if I turn it around like that. And it's the water and the antacid tablet are still intermixing with the food coloring, creating the gas bubbles going up through your lava lamp. And that will continue until that antacid tablet is completely dissolved in the water. And then once that's done, our water will again sink down through the oil and go back down to the bottom of the bottle. And you can see some of the colored bubbles coming down back to the bottom. And as you can see, we've still got bubbles going up, so that means that the antacid tablet is still reacting, creating that gas, and the gas will expand the bottle. So that's an important point that we want to think about when doing this experiment is don't put the bottle cap on your bottle after you've dropped your antacid tablet in, because that's going to trap the gas and it's going to expand your bottle and it might blow the top off. So while you're doing this experiment, while you still have bubbles being created in your lava lamp, don't put the lid on it. And just be very, very careful to not knock it over, because oil is messy. But while you're doing it, just make sure not to put the top on, just for safety's sake. But you can watch that and watch the bubbles create. And then if you feel like it, you can just drop another antacid tablet in there and watch it start all over again. And watch all the fun patterns created and all the huge bubbles being created. Joining us today for Virtual STEM Club Teen Edition Luminous Lava Makers. I hope you had a lot of fun with this project. We would love to see any pictures or videos of you doing the project, and you can share them with us at the email address coming across the screen. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Bye.